One of the biggest cultural shocks for me, especially as I started seeing more patients, was realizing how normalized period pain is. So many women say it so casually. I just take painkillers every single month. I always have cramps. It's just part of being a woman. I once had a manager and she popped painkillers like it was candy. But in traditional Chinese medicine, pain is never considered normal. Pain is information. Pain is communication. And when pain shows up every single month, the body is being very consistent about one thing. Something is not flowing the way it should. Healing is like tending a garden, and in every video, we water the roots. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Amy, a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, and today's wisdom comes from the heart of TCM. Let's begin by understanding the garden of our body, where every organ has its own rhythm, and when something is not flowing smoothly, symptoms appear to get our attention. I want to share something personal because context matters. I have had period pain before, but it was very minimal. Growing up in South Africa, I moved a lot. I exercised regularly and often outdoors. At home, my mom cooked mostly Chinese food, which was warm-cooked food, soups, and slow-cooked dishes. And I practiced piano for almost every single day for at least 30 minutes. This is a quiet, rhythmic form of emotional expression. At the time, I never thought of this as period care. It was just life. But when I later studied traditional Chinese medicine, something clicked. Regular movement supports the flow of qi and blood. Warm cooked food supports the spleen, which produces blood. Emotional expression supports the liver, which ensures smooth flow. This is not me saying, if you live like I did, you won't have pain. What I am saying is this. Our environment, habits, emotions, diet, and daily rhythms deeply influences how our body menstruates. In traditional Chinese medicine, there's a foundational principle, 痛则不通, 通则不痛. Where there is pain, there's obstruction. Where there's obstruction, there's pain. Menstruation is supposed to be a process of smooth release. For this to happen, the body needs sufficient qi to move blood, nourished, healthy blood, warmth to keep circulation open, and emotional regulation, especially of the liver. When one or more of these is disrupted, then pain appears. From a TCM perspective, most of these menstrual pain is linked to patterns such as liver qi stagnation, cold in uterus, blood stasis, and weak spleen failing to produce enough blood. So when someone says, my cramps are unbearable, but that's just how my body is, from a Chinese medicine perspective, your body is asking for help. Now let's talk about modern life and why women suffer more. Now let's talk about this honestly. Chronic stress, irregular meals, cold drinks all year round, long hours of sitting, high emotional load with little recovery. All of these things influences your liver qi. And we know that in traditional Chinese medicine, liver qi is responsible for smooth flow. And so it is extremely sensitive to stress. So like the 5 things I mentioned, these all contribute to it. So when stress becomes constant, qi becomes constrained, blood circulation slows, the uterus becomes undersupplied. And this is why many women notice worse cramps during stressful months, irregular cycles during burnout, or PMS becoming more emotional or painful. This isn't weakness, this is physiology through Chinese medicine lens. One thing I always emphasize for period care is warmth. Not because cold food is bad, but because menstruation requires circulation, not constriction. So choosing warm drinks over iced ones. Keeping your lower abdomen, your lower back, and your feet warm. Choosing warm cooked food. And avoiding excessive cold exposure during menstruation. Following these 4 guidelines, your body will thank you for it. And it's not forever, it's just during this special time period. These are not punishment, but these are invitation to a different kind of life that you can live, one with less pain. Now let's talk about food, without fear or blame. In traditional Chinese medicine, food is functional, not moral. We don't label food as good or bad. We ask, is it supportive right now? For painful periods, it's important to move the blood, warm the uterus, and support qi. So for warming and nourishing food, things like soup and stews, bone broth, chicken, beef, and lamb. However, lamb should be in moderation. And don't forget about your eggs. Now for blood and qi soothing food, I highly recommend ginger, turmeric, cinnamon in small amount, fennel, and chives. And lastly, spleen supporting food such as your rice, sweet potato, pumpkins, carrots, and red dates. Now, if your body already feels cold, tired, or crampy, large amounts of cold or raw food during your period may worsen the pain. This is not about restriction, this is about timing and gentleness. Moving forward, let's talk about painkillers. So I do have a lot of my patients taking them, and believe it or not, I don't forbid them. However, my goal with my patient is to help them get off painkillers and not rely so much on them. So my fine line is, if you need painkillers to function, to work, care for others, then take it. It's okay. But here is the important part. From a modern medicine perspective, long-term or frequent use of NSAIDs can irritate the stomach lining, affect gut integrity, and interfere with digestion and nutrient absorption. So from a TCM perspective, this makes so much sense. This weakens the spleen and stomach, which are responsible for producing blood. And when blood becomes deficient or stagnant, pain worsens over time. So painkillers may help short term, but they don't correct the pattern. The long-term goal is not dependence. The goal is reaching a point so that you no longer need them. And this is where acupuncture and herbal medicine work deeply. Not by numbing pain, but by restoring flow, warmth, and balance. Here are some gentle but powerful acupressure points that you can start pressing today to support your menstrual comfort. The first one, Sanning Jiao. This one is 3 finger breadth above your inner ankle on the inside of your leg. So what this does, it helps with regulating menstruation, nourishes blood, and relieves cramping. Now it's so important with a lot of these acupressure points, please do not use them if you're pregnant. So always consult your local traditional Chinese medicine doctor. And as I've said in many of my videos, everything I post, although well-intended, should be taken with a pinch of salt, because traditional Chinese medicine, we are very individualized care. Continuing on with this educational video, our next acupressure point, Tai Chong. So it's on the top of your feet, between the big toe and your second toe. So if you go from the bottom upwards, there's like a dip in that arch. That is Tai Chong. So what it does, it moves the liver qi, relieves emotional tension, and helps PMS and stress-related pain. Next one, Shui Hai, the sea of blood. Now this acupressure point is about 2 finger breadth above the knee on the inside, and it's mostly on the muscle. So what it does, it moves blood, reduces clotting pain, and helps stubborn fixed cramps. An important reminder, acupressure supports the body, but it does not replace individual diagnosis. Tongue and pulse diagnosis still matters a lot, and please remember, online education is guidance, never prescriptions. Now let's move on. So remember this, period pain isn't something that you just feel physically. It reflects what's happening within your body. But with the right understanding, gentle lifestyle adjustments, appropriate warmth, and proper care and support like acupuncture and herbs, the body can restore flow and balance can return naturally. Healing, like tending a garden, does not happen via force. It happens by listening, supporting the roots, and allowing the body to do what it already knows how to do. Alright, my lovelies, so I hope you learned something from this video. Let me know in the comments, are you taking painkillers and for how long? And please don't forget to share this with a friend or sister, mother, so that they can understand their body better. We all do not need to live in pain, or at least that much pain. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you good health. And good health is the ultimate fortune, the only investment with endless return. And when do we start investing? Right now. Please don't forget to check out all my other videos on feminine health.